Breaking news this evening. Washington has been rocked by an extraordinary scandal, and it doesn't come from President Donald Trump himself, but from the First Lady. According to multiple leaks from White House staff, Melania Trump allegedly issued a chilling warning directed at Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. In a private exchange, Melania is said to have declared, "If she doesn't stop attacking our family, maybe she should be sent back to Africa." The claim has sent shockwaves across the nation. For months, President Trump has dominated headlines with his controversial executive orders, tightened border policies, new tariffs, and the looming battle with unions. But never before has Melania been drawn so deeply into the storm. Known for her elegance and calculated silence, she has long avoided open political confrontation. Now, insiders suggest she has crossed an unprecedented line, directly threatening one of the administration's fiercest critics. The alleged comment reportedly came during a tense White House gathering, where frustration over constant Democratic attacks boiled over. One aide, speaking anonymously, told reporters, "She was furious. She said Jasmine was disrespecting her husband and their family. Then she said, if she doesn't stop, maybe she should be sent back to Africa." Everyone froze. It didn't sound like a joke. It sounded like a warning. By late evening, the media exploded. Major outlets flashed headlines across screens. "First Lady's threat stuns America, and Melania targets Crockett." Social media erupted within minutes. Hashtags like hashtag Melania threat, hashtag Crockett strong, and hashtag First Lady scandal surging to the top of trending lists. Memes flooded Twitter and TikTok, some portraying Melania with a deportation stamp in hand, others mocking the White House as a family dictatorship. For the first time since Trump returned to the Oval Office in January 2025, the First Lady herself, not the president, was at the epicenter of a global scandal. And across the country, one question spread like wildfire. Did Melania Trump just turn her husband's political battles into her own personal war? By dawn, the alleged words of First Lady Melania Trump had detonated across the media landscape like a political bomb. Every major outlet led with the story, First Lady's threat, deport her, Crockett versus Trump dynasty. On cable news, split-screen debates raged from sunrise until late morning as anchors replayed the alleged quote over and over, each repetition adding fuel to the inferno. CNN's morning panel opened with the headline, "Melania's words spark racial firestorm," as commentators described the threat as a dark echo of authoritarian regimes. MSNBC went further, calling it an attack not just on Jasmine Crockett, but on the very fabric of American democracy. Fox News, however, pushed back, with one host dismissing the leak as a partisan fabrication meant to smear the First Lady. Still, even their coverage couldn't ignore the wildfire spreading through public discourse. Social media turned the scandal viral. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Melania threat, hashtag Crockett strong, and hashtag deportation gate topped trending lists globally. TikTok creators reenacted the alleged confrontation in satirical skits, racking up millions of views. Memes portrayed Melania wielding a giant deportation stamp, while Jasmine Crockett stood defiant on Capitol Hill. Twitter, X, boiled with outrage and parody in equal measure, creating a storm that neither side could control. What shocked analysts most was the silence from the White House. No official statement, no denial, no clarification. Press secretary briefings were abruptly canceled, fueling speculation that the administration was scrambling to contain the fallout. "When you don't respond, you confirm the worst," one commentator said on NBC, and right now, the silence is deafening. International outlets picked up the story almost instantly. European tabloids plastered Melania's face with headlines like "First Lady's shocking threat." African media reacted sharply, with commentators calling the remark an insult not only to Crockett, but to the dignity of the continent. Diplomats in several capitals privately admitted they were bracing for official statements. By midday, it was no longer a gossip item, it was a crisis. A First Lady, usually seen as a symbol of unity and grace, was now accused of weaponizing deportation rhetoric against a sitting member of Congress. And the frenzy showed no signs of slowing down. By midday, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stepped into the spotlight, her response as fiery as the scandal itself. Standing on the steps of the Capitol, surrounded by flashing cameras and a crowd of reporters, she delivered a blistering statement that instantly became the clip of the day. Her voice was steady, her words sharp. Let me be clear. This is my country. I was born here. I was elected here. And neither the President nor the First Lady has the power to tell me to go back anywhere. The crowd erupted in applause as Crockett leaned into the microphone. This is bigger than me. This is about every American who has ever been told they don't belong because of the color of their skin or the courage of their convictions. And if Melania Trump thinks she can silence me with threats, she has picked the wrong woman. Her speech ricocheted across every network within minutes. MSNBC replayed it on loop, dubbing it the defiant roar heard across America. CNN analysts hailed it as a pivotal moment of resistance. Even Fox News, usually critical of Crockett, admitted her words had struck a nerve. Clips of the address flooded social media, spliced into TikToks and Instagram reels with captions like Crockett versus Melania, Round 1, and She Said What America Was Thinking. Crockett didn't stop there. She called on Congress to formally investigate what she described as racist and authoritarian rhetoric from within the White House. Her demand drew immediate support from progressive lawmakers, while moderates urged caution, warning that the scandal could spiral into a constitutional crisis. Still, Crockett's defiance galvanized her base, turning her into the face of resistance overnight. Meanwhile, crowds gathered outside the Capitol holding signs that read, "We belong here," and "First Lady, last word." Chants of "Crockett strong" echoed through the streets, amplifying the sense that the controversy had grown into a national reckoning. For Melania Trump, who had not yet issued a single public statement, the challenge was clear. Silence was no longer an option. And for Jasmine Crockett, the battle lines were drawn, not just against the First Lady, but against the entire Trump dynasty. By the afternoon, Jasmine Crockett's fiery words had turned a personal feud into a full-blown political crisis. Inside Congress, lawmakers scrambled to take positions as the scandal spread like wildfire through the halls of power. Progressive Democrats seized the moment, demanding accountability. If the First Lady of the United States is threatening elected officials with deportation, one Congresswoman declared on the House floor, then we have crossed into dangerous territory. This is not just inappropriate, it is un-American. Committees immediately began drafting letters calling for a formal inquiry, while several senior Democrats urged President Trump to publicly address his wife's alleged comments. The silence is unacceptable, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer told reporters. If Melania Trump truly made these remarks, the American people deserve to hear directly from the president whether he condones them. Republicans were visibly split. Some, like Senator Ted Cruz, dismissed the scandal as manufactured outrage designed to distract from the administration's successes. Others, however, admitted privately that the optics were catastrophic. It's one thing when Donald says something outrageous, a GOP strategist whispered to Politico. People expect it. But when Melania does it, it feels calculated, and that scares people. The media kept the firestorm blazing. Editorials in major newspapers questioned whether the First Lady had overstepped her role, warning that such rhetoric risked eroding the line between political combat and personal intimidation. Internationally, diplomats scrambled to respond. Leaders in Africa expressed outrage, with one ambassador bluntly stating, "We do not appreciate being used as a rhetorical weapon in America's domestic politics." European officials, already wary of Trump's aggressive trade policies, warned that the scandal could further destabilize U.S. credibility on the global stage. Meanwhile, protests swelled outside the White House. Demonstrators carried banners reading, "No one is illegal in Congress," and "Democracy, not dictatorship." Crowds chanted in unison, "Crockett belongs, Trump's wrong." News helicopters captured the scale of the unrest, broadcasting images of thousands of protesters clashing with police barricades. By sunset, the First Lady's alleged remark was no longer just a private scandal. It was a political inferno consuming the very heart of Trump's second presidency. And the pressure for a White House response was reaching a breaking point.